Hey guys, Spanners here. This is our live show. So this is footage from the live show at Milton Keynes that we did after qualifying for the Silverstone Grand Prix. It doesn't have an intro, which is why I'm talking to you now. So normally what we do is I'll stand up and say, oh, hi everyone, a casual hello, introduce who we've got on the panel today, and then I'll go into I'll say, you are listening to Missed Apex, and then everybody go, we live F1. That's the thing. That's the thing I say from the thing. And that's normally a cool moment. But actually, once I got started talking, the panel just started causing chaos, pulling on threads, turning things into topics. And the show just kind of soft launched. And we got an hour in before I realized, we never started the show. This is all preamble. So this is my introduction. What I'll say is that we don't do an awful lot of these live shows. So it's starting to become much more natural, but the atmosphere we have makes it one of the easiest things to do in the world. Everybody is so on board, on your side, so pleased to see us. The atmosphere was just buzzing and people were contributing. We got around the audience and we got loads of interaction and debates backwards and forwards with the audience there. It was a small venue. We promised Formula Fast in Milton Keynes, who looked after us fabulously, that we wouldn't book more than 35. Somebody forgot to take the ticket page down. So we did have about 45 souls there, plus our panel. But it was great. It was actually the perfect amount. And we just had a lovely, lovely time meeting everyone. So I'd like to really know from people which Grand Prix I would be able to put a live event on. So if people said, Monza, if you did an event there, we'd come. We did £15 and I don't think anybody felt ripped off. Everybody seemed like they were happy and buzzing. And with that size of audience as well, we had chances and opportunities to sit and talk to just about everyone over the course of the evening. And of course, we did some karting as well. And no spoilers, but I'm pretty happy with that result. So here is the live show. I get told off all the time for telling people not to listen to things. All I'll say is I find it jarring when the audio is different on podcasts I like. So obviously the audio is different and we work hard on it. But I had to pick between, do we get that full atmospheric, PA sound where you can hear a lot more of the people in the audience? You can hear them when I point the mic to them. I just meant in general. Or do you go for something that sounds better in your podcast ear? So I've gone for somewhere in between, and obviously the video looks different and stuff like that. So it's here if you want it. We've got plenty of content coming up. We've got the midweek content. If you haven't caught that yet, we did a kind of news silly season roundup. Then we've got the chat about Mohammed Ben Sulayem with these new proposals for future, what he thinks is the future of Formula One. And so we can do all that on the Spa preview, I think. So we'll do all that and then have the Spa preview. And that's more than enough content there. And then we obviously go into the race review on Sunday. All right, cool. Without further ado, the ado is that I can't find the button. Here we go. The live show. Here's the live show. Hello, everybody. Thank you so much for turning up. I assume that everybody here is a listener or a viewer of Missed Apex. Put your hand up if you've been dragged up here against your will. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I'm so sorry about that. And your partner as well. So for those of you who haven't seen us, who don't know us, my name is Spanners. I'm always scared with these things because we get a lot of online abuse from Red Bull fans. I don't know why. I'm one of them. So because I do that and I do live events and I always think, are people going to turn up just to call me a dickhead like they do online? I'm just thinking, yeah, they're all just going to turn up and go, yeah, there's that from Twitter saying stuff. So I'm hoping that we're all generally at least friendly or ambivalent towards Missed Apex podcast. That's the very least I can hope for. We have a great panel here today, concentrating on the vibe and the atmosphere and not like a cable or whatever.
I'm looking for my pad and pen that I left here.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yours is doing a real view.
Oh, it's like a live stream, isn't it? Here we go.
Of course, this is what happens.
Yeah, we'll hit record now. So notepad and pen, we all good? Can I do the bit where I say Matt 2 rumpets now? I've been building up to it all day. Okay. You write down 2 rumpets. It's got 7 U's, so you write that down there. I've got a panel here. Have become some of my very, very best friends. Of course, it's Matt 2 Me and Matt go back a very, very long way. If you remember, back in the 80s, we were detectives together in the NYPD.
Yes.
We busted that ring of drug dealers wearing sheepskin trousers. We infiltrated them.
Yes.
You, the experienced cop, me, the maverick rookie.
Never follows the rules.
Yeah, then we decided to do F1 podcast. But no, seriously, we went back. We started on a website called... Can we name them? Why not? It was part of our history, isn't it?
Might
We
as well.
started on the
That's true.
website. Don't boo. There's someone here. Where is he? Where's Adam? 2014 was the first season we covered because we were following the Rosberg-Hamilton title battle completely neutrally to set us on the path of neutrality. Yes. And in fact, so neutrally that I had the first introduction to my wife's grandparents during the Spa Grand Prix. And when Rosberg put his nose up and punched Hamilton, I just went from being like this kind, lovely person going, oh, hello, lovely to meet your granddaughter, to just this raging monster screaming at the screen. And I'll never forget her granddad's face, just going, oh, my God, who is Nicola marrying?
There he is. He's such a nice... Oh, dear.
Yeah. What a nice young... Ooh. I'm like, well, to be fair, Rosberg did squeeze the gap. Yeah. So we started doing that, a long, long time ago. Then in 2016, we set up with Formula E, covering Formula E.
Right.
And then back into Formula One. So this has now been 11 years of covering Formula One with Matt. So he's okay. Thank you for flying out. But, we've picked up a ragtag crew along the way. And by the way, pizza can interrupt this show. Pizza is more important than anything I'm saying. I'm 100% serious. So we picked up a ragtag crew along the way and some great racers. They've really got great driver skills. Sadly, Brad and Kyle couldn't make it today. But we've got Alex here. Alex Van Geen.
Hello. Everyone all right today?
Can we turn Alex up, please?
Yeah.
You know what? Normally, Alex doesn't need a mic. He just yells from London or wherever he is. So Alex is a fantastic racer. He's currently racing at GCX UK.
GCX UK.
And he's building his own kart.
Which is something I'd never done before, and I absolutely love doing it. So it's really good fun. I've been doing my own videos and stuff. Some of you might have seen it.
So whenever Alex comes on Missed Apex podcast, it's because he's just published the video on YouTube and he wants the link in the show.
So go to your phones right now, bring up YouTube, Alex Van Geen Racing, and subscribe to the channel.
But how much can you really respect Alex Van Geen as a racer?
2 stone. There's a 2 stone difference.
Can we fade that down? Can we? So some of you came and did some go-karting with us today. So a very big thank you to Peter, Monty, Mike, Ken, Erica, and we had Maria, Elena, David, Sean, Race Control, Richard Molden over there, Harold, Darren, and also Matt as well. So that was really cool of you guys to get involved. And I'm looking at the lap times, and one Richard Reddy has a 33.401. Alex Van Geen, 33.413. So
100th with 2 stone difference, which is probably about 9/10 of a second around this circuit.
I've heard that weight doesn't really make a difference go-karting.
I've heard of physics, so I disagree.
Don't they say the race starts in the kitchen, though, for go-karting?
Absolutely, and I'm failing dramatically in the kitchen. I have a race in about 6 weeks' time, and I have a fair few kilos to lose before that race.
Can we get some pizza for Alex Van Geen here? Just
there's two on the way.
Yeah, no, he's all over it. So we've got great racers as well, but also from the content creator world. The gentleman sitting here, slightly to my left, Scott Stuffey Tuffy. And
hello.
2 years ago, Scott, I said, you have got such charisma, your little watch-alongs and your little TikToks are so good. And I said, you're going to be the biggest F1 YouTuber that there is at some point. And I think you're well on the way.
No, I appreciate that, mate. You keep saying it. It's always very nice to hear.
People believe it.
I love it. I love F1 and I love doing, obviously, all the watch-alongs and the content creation and stuff. And thank you, Alex here. He found me with iRacing, and eventually I started on the iRacing podcast. And then I made my way up to the F1 podcast, and here we are now today. And it's, as I said earlier to a couple of you, this is more nerve-wracking than it is streaming to thousands of people and even like talking on the podcast.
Because they're there.
You realise there's actual real people behind the numbers.
And like when you try and do a joke and you've got Peter there just going, nah. You go, oh, no.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly that. But no, it's brilliant, and it's great to see obviously you all, and that we can feel this. It just shows that obviously what we're providing you guys, you enjoy. So
and you've got to watch Scott's watch-alongs. You spell stuff.
Do that too. Yeah.
You spell it STEFFY.
It's my first initial and last name.
Stuffy Tuffy, but it's got 8 Y's
Right,
at the end. Right.
Some random person on YouTube already had the simple spelling, so it's not my fault, okay?
Okay, fair enough. But you've got to watch it just because, like, Scotty's so Essex as well. So any incident happens, he's like, oh, no, they've crashed again, innit? No. Oh, shut it, Horner. Yeah, no, go and watch those. I think you're a fantastic YouTuber. And this is what we've been doing at Missed Apex, is we've been collecting communicators who are just really generous about talking about F1. It's not a journalist show. We do, of course, get Uncle Joe on whenever we can. We've got, Matthew Summerfield, who comes on, and we're playing golf against him on Monday. And so now I have to stop slagging off Planet F1 because he's working for them. So we did have our little meme corner, didn't we? Our clickbait corner, and that heavily featured Race 365 and Planet F1. And now we've got to stop because Summers needs money to feed his golf addiction. But mainly it's about content creators like us who just want to speak with a fan voice, and it doesn't matter if we're wrong. We just want people to argue with us and share F1. So to that end, I'm going to need you guys a bit later on in this to give me your reckons. So we used to have a mailbag where we'd say, please give us questions, and we'd answer them all stoically, wouldn't we? We'd just like, oh yes, in our learned opinion.
Yeah, we go and do hours of research and lots of math.
Hours of research. I've
And
never
then,
done research for a show once.
So genuinely, Alex has never read the show notes. We do have really well-prepared show notes. Matt crawls through all the article. He knows everything that's going on in the news. He crawls through all the data. So that data is available to us. Alex turns up and plugs his YouTube.
I just asked him, did you watch qualifying earlier? Oh, I caught the last run in Q3 earlier.
I was listening. I did listen to the whole thing. It's not like someone who once came on our show who had seen the highlights of the race and came on to do a whole race review.
No, he had. Okay, so can you imagine a content creator coming on a podcast for a race review having not watched the race? Can you think of anyone in this room that might have done that? Ex-Red Bull, social media, telecoms guy, Dan Drury. Where is he? Is he not? Is he gone? There we go. Engine Mode 11. Remember when he used to do Twitter? Yeah, come on.
I'm sorry, I'm not going to lie. He shook my hand earlier, and I did think, who is that? I don't recognise you without your beard.
Yeah, that beard was his whole personality. But that's the essence of this Apex podcast. And also, it means for these guys, they can get out of it what they want to put in. They can pick it up. They can put it down. And we put out enough content that you can just watch the race reviews or just watch the news. It's a nice little club. So thank you for being part of it. I would like to get to know a little bit about you guys. There's a variety of shirts around here, some correct, some incorrect. So can we just say who's come in from outside of the UK? You guys. Okay, over there in the corner, Canada? Canada, Ken? Where are you from? USA, okay. US? US. Yell it out as a point. Canada, okay, this is not very interesting so far, guys. This is what have we got here? Norway, that's tall. Yeah, that's good. Where are you going? Brazil? Okay, then Brazil. Where are you from, sir? A fellow Red Bull fan, I see. In the corner there, America? With the Ferrari hat on. Anyone from anywhere exotic? Venezuela, that's more like it. That's better. Both of you, Venezuela? Where are you from? Bosnia, excellent. And over here? Americans? Ohio. Anyone else? Where have we got that hand? Australia. And I think this is so... Oh, hang on. Let's see. Okay, so hands up. Any Piastri fans here then? Let's have a count. 1, 2, 3, 4. Any Piastri fans from last season that haven't just jumped on the bandwagon? There's been a lot of that going on. Thank you for your honesty. I appreciate that. And Norris fans? Yeah, come on. I'm in the Norris camp. I've joined you this season because Piastri's making me look like a real from my predictions from last year. I don't actually really delve into the panel. Like, Scott, you're a big Hamilton fan, right?
Yeah.
Oh, come on! Woo!
Showing back today, but...
Right, so we'll get some of your insight. I think we'll discuss... we'll have a bit of a group hug about Hamilton a little bit later on. I think we can do that, can't we?
I think I said on Friday, please don't give us hope. Yeah. It's like he went fastest in FP1. I'm like, no, don't do this. Not on a freaking Friday where we'll go mess with the car and then it doesn't work on Saturday. Oh look,
I mean, it did work on Saturday, but
not very well.
So we'll actually
better.
We'll do that topic right now after I just find out how many Hamilton fans have we got. Woo! It's still the vast majority, isn't it? And when I was watching the F1 practice yesterday from the Red Bull hospitality, because that's just the kind of thing that
Racing Bull, not proper Red Bull.
No, it was the Red Bull pole position, actually.
I mean,
You were in the Death Star.
I was in the Death Star.
You're doing very well. I said to you, you've literally got a wardrobe full of every single team's merch, haven't you?
So I was there with Hugo Boss supporting the launch of... Who knows Slawn, the artist Slawn? I'm doing it on purpose. That's the whole thing. When do I ever get to name drop? Oh, normally I'm like, I was sitting in my shed in my house. Like, let me have it. Just please. Does everyone know Slawn? So you know him, no? Do you go know? He did all the squiggles on the Visa Cash App thing, and it's very kind of culturally significant to Visa Cash App RB because they're trying to bring a new audience into F1. But he is someone with a lot of cultural significance. He's having a moment, and he's bringing in a lot of new fans. However, the McLaren livery that they brought with the chrome is that's a racing livery, very sexy livery, isn't it, with the chrome?
Yeah, that was the original get introduced to Lewis Hamilton livery for me, that Vodafone, McLaren, Mercedes. And
I've got a criticism about that livery.
It's rubbish.
It's going to be unpopular.
You've moaned about every livery.
It's going to be
that's come out.
unpopular. Too much papaya.
Absolutely.
If you're going to go chrome, go full chrome.
Absolutely. Yeah. The second I saw it, I'm like, they've gone chrome. No, they've just stuck some chrome on.
I was so excited when I heard about it, and then I saw it, and I was like, yeah, more chrome would have been better.
The chrome and orange doesn't work. Just stick Vodafone on it.
Any liveries you like? That's all, ever? Earth car?
Ferrari's red. Red's my favourite colour.
I like the actual standard V-carb livery.
Okay, so have we covered any fan bases here that haven't been covered so far? Because I think they're like the big three this season.
Lance Stroll? Anyone Lance
You
Stroll?
bought a steak shirt on a whip.
Anyone Lance Stroll?
Hang on,
Leave.
wait a minute. Alex, we've got a genuine Sauber fan here. A genuine Sauber fan. Okay. It's a very important question. I want you to think carefully. Why?
Kimi Räikkönen.
Oh,
He's not here anymore.
That is semi-valid. I think that is semi-valid. That's all right. Okay, anyone else? Any other fan bases here that we've, like a genuine supporter of a driver that we've not mentioned? Who is it, Peter?
Fernando Alonso.
Get out. Leave.
So I've got a really strange fan relationship with Fernando Alonso. I've said it to you guys, but I would consider myself a fan of Alonso, but I don't wish him any particular success, and I can't figure out why.
If he was just a driver, I'd have been a fan of him. But the fact that he's just a 90% of the time, I can't deal with it. He's also the biggest gaslighter on the grid, even more so than Christian Horner, because he tells everybody he's miles better than he actually is.
Who put 50p in the Van Gene?
You did when you mentioned that. He did when he mentioned that man.
So we're always talking about playing to the cameras, and he's one of those. He's absolutely aware that they're going to play that radio message. And how many times has he said, that was my best Grand Prix ever, yeah. P17, but, that was the fastest I've ever gone.
I'm pretty certain at Austria, when he spun on the outlap in practice, he said it was a really good spin. He's the only person who could put that spin on something.
I like him. I think he's charismatic, he's fast, he's two-time
you're
world
not the
champion.
best judge of that. So.
He's representing anyone over 40 here.
Yeah, okay, fair enough.
Yeah, thank you very much. Right, okay, Alonso, anyone else? Have we missed that you're genuinely a fan of? Over here in the corner, go on then. Let's see if we get feedback. Who we got here?
Max Verstappen.
Do. Me too, Max Verstappen. So we've got 2 Verstappen fans, but that's it, right? 3. Charlie, we said 2 only at the door. Anyone else? Is that covered? Anyone a passionate fan of a driver not mentioned yet? No, we've got one here. Go on, what's your name?
Williams.
As a team, just as an entity, I can get on board with that. Williams is the best team in Grand Prix history ever. Also my team from the 80s.
To be fair, Carlos Sainz is a legend. Is there anyone that doesn't like Carlos Sainz? Is there anything to not like about that man?
He's the golden retriever of F1.
I like that. That's
a great
brilliant.
description.
That's really good. I'm stealing that. That's mine now.
Can we cut this out of the edit and then we'll... Alex, do you want to just say the line and then we'll make...
He's the golden retriever of Formula One.
Oh my God, what a comment. That's comment of the week.
Anyone notice how that disappeared from the show?
Okay, the reason that disappeared was when it gets to 12 o'clock at night and we're just sleepy, and Matt, I would say, Matt, comment of the week. We just have like 3 comments from the live chat.
17
and you go,
later.
yeah, that's right. Here's 17 in 17th place. And we go, oh, man, I want to go to bed now. Come on. But once the show is finished, it's the same as like at the end of a race. After the Grand Prix is finished, everyone just goes home. No one's interested. If I did this show tomorrow, no one would care. Because once the race is finished, you will want to go home. So that's it. I think we've covered some of the grid. Are there really like Logan Sargent fans that are sitting here waiting for?
What about the rookies? Who are people's
I
favorite
can't
rookies?
believe there's not a single Albon fan here.
Go on, Alex. Go for that again.
Favorite rookies?
Well, you've got to go through them and judge the reaction.
Is it anyone other than Isaac?
No, Isaac all the way.
Anyone other than Isaac?
Oh, what?
No.
Ollie Behrman, my fellow
Very
Essex man.
He didn't. He's been all right. I like him. He's doing all right.
Antonelli. We have some Antonelli fans back there.
Okay.
By the way, I love the fact you've got a Brazil shirt with
Wait, hang on, the
4 on
comment-
it. That's awesome.
The comment we just had there was, I like Antonelli. He took out Verstappen. Sorry. There we go. He looks genuinely upset by that. That was Sean. Yeah, that's Sean. And I've got all your addresses. So if you want his address, we'll sort that out. But through the Isaac Hadjar, I'm definitely now hitching my wagon and saying I feel like I'm an Isaac Hadjar fan. He's just going about it quietly. But in all the interviews as well, he just seems nice. And I hope someone just grabs him and goes, don't let them do what they did to Lewis Hamilton. Just keep being yourself.
Or what they did to
Did you
Norris.
see what
Or Norris, yeah.
he was asked what his favourite ever race in F1 was? Anyone see this? He said his favourite race, while in Red Bull gear, said his favourite race was Brazil 2021.
That's an example of like patience and figuring out stuff. He was stuck behind Vettel
Maturity.
for about 6 or 7 laps, and then he suddenly realized, like, oh no, if I back up and I get like a good run into the aero wash, I can go and overtake him. That was like an all-time drive.
It was one of his best drives. People who are new to the sport will put that. For me, it's always Silverstone 08. I was there. It was one of the best things I've ever seen. And to destroy that field by a minute was just
In the wet as well.
In the wet was just one of my favorite. It was his very much stand up and I'm here moment. It was superb. Where he won the title, that was fabulous as well.
Okay, well, I'm going for Silverstone with 3 wheels. That's the best one, wasn't it? Like the countdown. Max is 30 seconds behind. He's 20 seconds behind. He's 10 seconds
singular
behind.
best moment was the 5-wheel pit stop with McLaren.
That was brilliant. That was India, wasn't it?
You'll have to remind me.
He came into the pits. He was having an issue with some switches and stuff on his steering wheel. He came into the pit stop. They changed his tyres and his steering wheel in the normal pit stop time. Lost no time and got straight back out. That is, if you've not seen that, go and YouTube it. It is one of the finest things you'll ever see from the pit crew.
3 wheels. 3 wheels was more impressive. But we were talking about Isaac Hadjar, in case anyone's forgot.
Oh no! What a surprise! This show bends its way back to Lewis
To be
Hamilton.
fair,
That's
Lewis
you, Alex. You
is
always
Hadjar's favorite
you always
driver.
divert back to Lewis.
British bias is just what I do.
Yeah, but Isaac is nailing it. I think people are getting really excited about Kimi Antonelli as well. I'm not seeing it yet. God, who's gunning for Antonelli in this room?
I like him.
He's not going to take out Verstappen every race. yeah. But okay, if I can do the meanest assessment of his season so far, he's been behind George Russell a lot, and even the podium that was celebrated, he was behind his teammate. So what has he actually done to show anyone that, oh God, this is Piastri all over again, he's going to be brilliant?
I just think George has been fantastic this season. And I just think for Kimi to be as close as he has been to George has been brilliant. And I love the relationship. I hate it, but I love it at the same time, the relationship between Bono and Kimi, because it almost feels like father-son, and he's literally coaxing him through. And you can see the performance getting better and better from Kimi. I see massive things for him.
But see, I'm going to say I don't even think it's a fair comparison, Hadjar to Antonelli, because Mercedes took Antonelli out of finishing school a year early.
Correct.
So you're not really seeing them compared apples to apples, so to speak. But Hadjar has impressed me immensely.
Agreed.
He's like, yeah, I will hope that Antonelli hits that standard with a little bit more seasoning.
Who's the worst one?
Doohan?
Oh, no. Oh.
Lawson? No, he's not. But he's
Sorry.
no, he is technically a rookie.
No.
Okay, right, let's settle this. No, right.
Colapinto.
Yeah, I was about to say.
Sorry, I hate to say it, but in terms of in terms of how he has performed since he's been in that Alpine, Colapinto has seriously.
This is not playing well with the crowd.
Not
I love Colapinto, and I think he's doing really well.
You're from New York, of course it's allowed.
I will defend Colapinto, though. Doohan was set up to fail from the get-go. Colapinto, he had 6 months off. He drove a Mercedes engine, Williams, a good Williams, and we've seen how difficult it has been for drivers to get used to a new power unit. So he's driving that Renault engine, which isn't great anyway, and then... Hang on, Matt. I can see you itching to talk there.
I'm getting a thought.
Don't mention Ocon.
And he has come in knowing straight away, I've got 5 races. Have I not got 5 races? He's been given an extra one. And he came in at arguably the worst time. A terrible run of Imola, Monaco. I mean, how are you supposed to get any sort of rhythm from that? However, it is still kind of down to himself that the one thing you need to do. What do we say about all rookies?
Stay out the wall.
Exactly. And what did he do? First bloody qualifying session, stick it in the wall. And that just, then you go to Monaco, you're already on the back foot. And so he hasn't helped himself. And today was just a real odd crash, really, for him at that last corner. I mean, we saw a few moments from, I'm sure we'll get to it, everyone struggling in that last corner, but he was the only one who had that. You don't often see drivers touch that curb and go off. And yeah, rookie mistake completely.
Yeah, I was thinking that you were going to start implying that Briatore was making his life more difficult on purpose so he could resell that seat for the last time this season.
Or he may go back to his sponsors and say, I need an extra 5-10 million.
Yeah, I think he's fast. I think he's got massive pace, but if he can't show it by keeping it on the track, it's going to end. I mean, you saw Briatore with his head in his hands after that because he's like, well, not that he doesn't get enough rubbish from the fans because he shouldn't be in Formula One for a start, but he made the decision to drop Doohan with only a few races done to then put this kid in, and he's gone and done exactly what he did in the Williams, which is be fast but also just too crashy.
I'm holding out for Alpine hospitality, so I think Briatore's misunderstood, to be honest. But yeah,
can I make? I think on the flip side, when we're talking about rookies, someone who I think has had brilliant performances, but then has also really let himself down. Ollie Behrman. I mean, what happened today, man?
Even Max.
Explain briefly what happened.
If no one's seen it, I'm sure you all have. I mean, Red, really? Oh my goodness! I mean, even Max was laughing at it on the radio, going, "Someone's crashed in the pit entry." It's second red flag incident for him. I don't know what it is. He just doesn't realise. Is he colourblind? I'm starting to think he's colourblind. Because red flag, I'm sorry, he's got 8 points on his license. He's only been in F1 6 months. Monaco, because the red flags, of course, is the one thing, health and safety, of course. 4 points in Monaco, had ample time to slow down. He didn't. 4 points there. And also, it's at weekends as well where he's been quick. Monaco, he was quick. Penalty. Here this weekend, I mean, he's qualified 8th. He's going to be starting 18th.
So you get 4 points for crashing by yourself, but only 2 points if you intentionally ram into somebody. That's fair.
Is it 2 or 3? No, it was 2.
2.
Hey, I think Max did that by accident. I think anyone could accidentally ram into George Russell. Yeah, so I didn't need any of these show notes, it turns out, which is really fantastic.
Sorry, there was show notes.
Haven't even got to qualifying yet.
No, this is great. And it's great to see everybody's passions. But I did want to do the teams, because that's where we were at. And what's really interesting in our community is that I think by far the most popular team in F1 for the last 4 or 5 years is McLaren.
The crowd goes silent.
The crowd
goes mild. The crowd goes mild.
Hang on, let's get Ahmed to take on this. What's going on?
No, fully agree. I was in Nando's on the way here, and it was full of McLaren fans.
So Silverstone's full of
And
papaya.
to be fair, I tried to. I took my little one on my day off to try and get into
Such a good
McLaren's day.
Yeah.
I know, well, there's nothing else to do. And it was absolutely round. I was taken aback at how busy it was, how many papaya shirts I saw, and from people from all across the world, it looked like as well. I think even McLaren probably overestimated or underestimated how busy that event was going to be because I actually gave up. I was like, it's just too long of a queue and too much effort with a little one to get in.
And I will say that was on a day where loads of the other teams had events.
Yeah.
So I am kind of influencer adjacent in that I am on their lists, so they know I exist. These PR companies.
Yeah, hang on.
When
Just let you guys know this. Spanners went to the Hugo Boss
Launch
V-Car
party.
launch party,
It's
and then,
Visa Cash
and
App
then he
party.
messages the group saying, "Oh, I've got a +1. Anyone make it to Oxford Street?" As he's sending us an image
5
of him
minutes ago.
5 minutes.
Yeah, I didn't know.
5 minutes before the launch event starts.
So I didn't know I had a +1. I definitely would have invited Kyle or Alex if I had known. But so for that one, that was through friends. So it wasn't because I was on anyone's great list. But we did get invited to the Aston Martin one. Sorry about that. And my first thought when I get invited to an event was, blimey, how far down the list have they had
How
to go?
desperate are they?
Because
Was it an
everyone-
accident?
Yeah. No, because everyone was having events that day, and I did hear on the grapevine that they were struggling with that event in particular. But the McLaren one was completely rammed. So in this room, then, I mean, okay, how many Williams fans are there? Like traditionally, see, I'm sensing a lot less passion for the team's side of things than the driver's side of things. I think people are more driver oriented.
I think in the last 15, 20 years, there's
You're
been
old now.
there's been less focus on the teams and much more focus on the drivers. I mean, historically, I'm a McLaren fan. That's why all my kart gear is all McLaren stuff. But yeah, for me, obviously, since Lewis came into the sport, I've been very much focused on where he was. It was just happened to be he was at McLaren. You know, I'm not particularly a Mercedes fan. I like Mercedes. I have a fond place for Mercedes,
But because of Lewis.
But I've always been a Ferrari fan. For the last 18 months. But yeah,
can relate.
so the whole teams thing hasn't really bothered me for a while, but I always want Williams and McLaren to do well. Other than that, I don't really care.
Yeah. So for me, Williams, though, you're making me feel quite old because for me it was Nigel Mansell.
absolutely.
Was what made me support that, and then Damon Hill as well. So I do think the drivers are much more into it, much more of a factor. But quickly, Ferrari fans? No, pre-Lewis Ferrari fans. No, none. Okay, so I just want to know there two, maybe there. Okay, there we go. And who? Red Bull? But actually Red Bull, and not. So if when Verstappen goes to Mercedes, still a Red Bull fan? Oh, you lie. You're lying. I can tell through the lights. Still a Red Bull fan. Red Bull till you die. Okay, yeah. That's me. But like, I find myself supporting a Red Bull because I've been a Perez fan and a Tsunoda fan. And as Joe said, yes, but they're the wrong ones. So yeah, that's been quite upsetting. So I want to talk, before we go to Scott and talking about the group hug that we're going to have about Ferrari and about Hamilton, I just want to talk about how we watch the race, because most of the time it's a TV sport for us. But recently I've made some new friends through the tennis club, and they said, well, we're going to watch qualifying, and would you like to come around and have a barbecue? And we had a really pleasant time. My kids were there. And then qualifying came on, and I was sometime around Q3, I stood up, and they were quite alarmed. And I was like, why are they looking at me strangely? And then I start yelling as lap times come through, and I'm like that. And eventually, I think Leclerc got a pole, so it must have been Monaco. No, I don't know what it was. It was recently. But Monaco he got a pole, and I started cheering because it wasn't Piastri. So, and they were looking at me like, why would you be that passionate about F1? It had come out of nowhere, and I just had to realize that I should never, ever watch F1 with other people.
With non-F1 fans. Because we've all watched it at Malden's house.
Oh, yeah.
And we all got equally excited, but it was fine. Yeah. But yeah, no, luckily, my whole family has always been F1 fans, so I don't get told off when I scream and shout. I did get told off in Abu Dhabi 2021 when I launched one of my kids' toys across the room.
I'm so glad you finished that sentence. It was a little pause there, and I thought,
my kids weren't at the house, which is hilarious. They kicked one of the toys across the lounge when all that kicked off.
As the restart was being announced, and they were saying they were going to restart, and all during the Mickey, this is so not right. I was angry then, but then as the race started and unfolded, I was just sat there with my hand on my head, and I was silent. And that was the moment my wife came in and said, "What's wrong?" Because there was no sound coming, and I just couldn't believe it. And then at one point, once the checkered flag, I sat down, and I think I just sat down for 20 minutes, and then I went, oh. And that's the quietest I've ever been.
Generational trauma, that is.
Sorry to bring that up for anyone. Has that triggered anyone? Are we okay? Should we all just
Who's
take
not feeling pain?
You're okay.
We all had
Put your hands down.
Everyone had a moment of silence. And my viewing experience has massively changed. Of course, I do my watch-alongs. It's more data-driven and track map. But even in the odd times that I have missed races, I find that the TV coverage is so lacking when you watch it, the TV coverage with the support of F1 data and that. And I feel like you don't get a whole picture of the race that's unfolding, the gaps, and agree. Everyone has different levels of how intricately they go into the data and what they want to know. But in particular, I think one thing that the TV coverage misses out on is a track map. I think it's such a simple thing. They sometimes show it, but they only put it on there briefly. And that gives you a complete overview of where everyone is out on track. Why are the leaders now pushing? Why have they backed off? And the commentators, in the times that I listen back to highlights and that, they don't really properly.
What possible incentive could someone who does YouTube watch-alongs have to tell people to not watch the TV broadcasts?
No, but I still watch it. I use it as a support for myself, as almost like a replay tool. But even something that really baffles me, and I get their approach, is they removed the whole the timing tower with the relative on the first couple of laps. And I'm sorry, not everyone knows who's got what helmet and what car is which. That is so essential to know who's switching position at the busiest part of the race. And I get they're trying to focus on the racing, but it's so weird.
No, I was going to agree with you about not watching Formula One with people, because I originally would watch Formula One in my office with like 3 or 4 monitors and everything was there. And then, as some of you may know, my wife wrote a book or two about Formula One. And that led to her wanting to watch the race with me, which meant now I only had like this computer and just timing and a little track map. And I had to leave all my beautiful data behind in my office. But I'm not done, because my daughter's best friend, boyfriend, also was a Formula One fan, listens to the show. So suddenly they started coming over, which means my daughter. So now I'm surrounded by family and almost no data for the entire race. Then I have to go figure out it afterwards before we record the show. So yeah, I feel you there.
So we had Scott plugging his watch along on this. We had Matt going, "Oh, my wife writes books, by the way, which can be found at the publisher, blah, blah." Alex is going to come in next. I like to watch it while building go-karts. And if you want to find out how to build go-karts,
Alex Van Gene on YouTube, Alex Van Gene Racing. Thank you very much. Like, share, and subscribe.
I just wanted to add the one last bit that obviously today, lots of partners here, even if you have been dragged along, but it's become much more of, as you said, Matt, much more of a family thing. Like, you have messaged us so many times with your wife, has commented on this bit. My partner is the same as well. She got into it because I was passionate about it, but then Drive to Survive, like most, got more invested in it. And no matter what your opinions are of Drive to Survive, it has massively increased the popularity of the sport for, I think, the overall debate.
Well, let's find out who got into F1 for Drive to Survive through that. You're not admitting it. There's liars. Like, there's no gatekeeping here. It's fine. You're in a safe place. I think it's a perfectly valid gateway. And to be honest, the people who watched it from Drive to Survive have driven this need for storylines and personalities, which we have to be honest, as old fuddy-duddies, that has enriched the sport, Darren. Okay, it has. We get to know these drivers. Back in 18-7, when you were watching, you didn't know who any team principals were. You knew Ron Dennis, and that's about it. If someone...
Sorry, the thing is that I don't agree with that argument, because how many people would have loved to have seen behind the scenes of Senna and Prost? I mean, come on, like, all those classic rivalries, or when Damon Hill had got taken out by Michael Schumacher. And,
trigger warning.
I know, but all these like rivalry moments, like when rivals for 80 years, we would have loved to have seen behind the scenes. And Drive to Survive, yes, it's had its moments where it got too dramatized, but I think those first couple of seasons, which got people into the sport, were so good, and they have tried to go back down that route. But yeah, we would have loved to have seen those moments.
No, I think even now, even when you've watched a whole season and you sense what they're pushing compared to what it looked like when it really happened, they almost can't help but capture occasionally these moments of realism behind the scenes that you just don't get access to any other way. And that is the key. People love to get behind the scenes to see what's going on in that garage when the driver is talking to that engineer. You just overhear him say something about somebody else casually. We would never have gotten that before. So it's always worth it, even if you don't like the overly dramatic way they frame things sometimes.
would Daniel Ricciardo, who's been as big a star as he is, as he is, if without Drive to Survive? I don't think so. I think he endeared himself to every single person watching that show. I don't think there's anyone that watches him, and apart from you, Spanners, who doesn't like Daniel Ricciardo.
That is private. I've never said any of those things out
Yes,
loud.
you have.
Have I?
Yes, you have. You said he has real supervillain energy.
I've got to stop sniffing glue on the podcast. I thought for ages like he was too nice, that there must be something behind that.
Because he screamed once after being crashed out.
And
You
he
thought
punched
that
a hole in the wall. And I just like, in Lego, when you have Lord President business and then he's evil in the back. Yeah, I thought that's like Daniel Ricciardo. He's like, hi, everyone. Yeah, I've had a great race. And then he turns behind the scenes. Never pass me my glove slightly damp ever again. And I thought that was like, that would have been a great story for Ricciardo.
Yet Kimi can yell at his engineer for his gloves and everyone loves him for it.
So brilliant, isn't he? And then Lewis Hamilton's like, guys, I don't think we should have gone onto that tyre. Tantrum from Hamilton, says the sun. Yeah. So, okay, we're gonna talk Lewis Hamilton. We're gonna have a bit of a group hug now with Scott, and then we're gonna go to Alex and talk about why is Verstappen so good and why is he dominating this period of Formula One. That would be a good time to get some pizza, and the bar is open.
Yeah, pizza. Mine isn't here yet.
Don't look at Dave.
I'm
Alex,
looking at the kitchen. I'm looking at that direction.
Alex,
Dave just happens to be there.
Sorry,
Dave.
You've just yelled at a veteran and said, "Where's my pizza?" That's what you've just done.
It wasn't at you, Dave. I love you, Dave. Thank you.
So I think we're going to chat here for the next 10, 15 minutes. Then we're going to take a break, and then we're going to do a quiz. And
Catman's coming?
No, I've done the quiz.
Oh, God, it's going to be wrong.
So spellings may vary. There may be some typos. And it's what I think the answer was, not what the real answer is. That is the generic.
This is what you pay for, folks.
I will say to that, thank
Got
you
Michael
so
Massey
much.
here, guys.
They did us a very reasonable rate here at Formula Fast, but it's a great venue because we get to sit here. We don't have to do the clapping for the staff thing. They're not listening. But, we get to come in. What I would love is next time everybody to just go, right, I'm just going to do some karting. I'd love to have like 4 or 5 sessions of karting. I think people think, oh, maybe I'm not good enough, but there's a big level. We could even tier it, couldn't we? So complete beginners and then like elite, like, no professionals for you and me.
And then really old people.
Yeah, we could have an over.
But the thing is, me and Spanners are still in that.
We can have an over 44s league. Yeah, I think so. Yeah, but I'd
An
love
over 60 league.
So
I'd go for that.
It's something I feel very, very passionate about as race fans is that if this was a soccer podcast, actually, I'm considering you soccer.
I'm impressed.
We all
Your American is improving.
We watched all soccer all the time, and then we listened, and we were all listening to a soccer podcast. We would all have a kick around with our kids. We would all like kick a football. We'd all score a goal. We'd all understand what it was like to kick a football. Yet as race fans, we don't go out there and turn a wheel. So I would say, even if you're going to just play an F1 game from 8 years ago, it's basically free. Just understand with your joypad what it's like to break into a corner, what it's like to turn. Go out there on a kart track with your friends, and you'll all be equally terrible, right? But come to something like this and see Van Gien fly past you and stay in his tracks, right? Here's the thing. He's a magnificent racer, is Alex Van Gien. Stay exactly in his tracks, take the same line as him, and then you go, but he's still going faster. Why is that? Because you start to see nuance. You start to see him shifting his weight around. And this pizza is contributing to that weight.
His considerable weight.
He's got 2. Alex Van Gien has got 2 pizzas.
They're not both mine. No, that's Malden's. Yeah, that's Malden.
I thought you were being nice and buying one for the panel.
Okay,
Malden.
I think my job is now to pass the pizza. And by the way, thank you very much to Race Control, Richard Malden here for doing all our audio and lighting. Thank you. Having someone to do that is really, really amazing. And reading and talking at the same time stresses me out, let alone doing all the audio. But you follow someone like Alex, and then you'll realize there are layers to the game. Oh, it's not just the line. He can accelerate so much earlier because his weight is in the correct place. And it will take you no...
It doesn't help. I'll let you keep talking while I eat pizza.
Or you suddenly
Well,
notice,
I'm
you'll
not
suddenly notice, you'll go, oh, his cart is pointing into the corner way earlier than me. It will not take long playing these games, doing a bit of karting, doing a bit of sim racing, before you get an appreciation of the sport. And then you get to the point where you can just be deluded enough to watch it on TV and go, look at Bortoletto make a mistake and go, "Oh, we never opened up the steering on that curb." Like, what a mug!
But the thing is, when it comes to the Sims and things like that, look at every single new driver. Every single one of them is on iRacing. Kimi Antonelli used to race with us in Formula when we used to do Formula Renault on iRacing.
Yeah.
Kimi was in our races, so we all raced with Kimi when he was like 13.
Oh, and not
years
just
old.
that. During COVID, Roman Grosjean, I had a couple of races with him. Alonso was on there a lot. And Grosjean came to lap me. And I was like, if I can just stay ahead and not be lapped by Roman Grosjean, that would be great.
That's actually my claim to fame, is that I've crashed into Oscar Piastri.
Oh, there you go.
So
You're basically Lando
and hang on,
Norris.
and Kimi Antonelli. I'm racking up the list.
But I think the point that Alex was making is that these kids coming through the system, and this links into your topic, Scott, is that they've all come through and they all embrace sim racing. And they're on these sims, they iRace, and they're essentially competing at racing. And it's the same inputs, it's the same muscle memory. The danger's not there, but you're having these wheel-to-wheel combat things. You're having these scenarios where you go, oh, that didn't work. And these modern drivers, I think, are starting to make people like Lewis Hamilton and his generation look a step behind.
Yeah, speaking of Kimi, and at that exact moment where we did Tangle, it was at the Hungaroring, and he was racing F2. It was last year. And the move, it was the middle chicane, and he dived up the inside. So you go left, then right, and he dived up the inside, and he was not far enough ahead to basically get ahead of me. But that exact move he did on the leader for the race win in F2. So these drivers are using iRacing, using sim racing online, because the thing is that the competitiveness level, I'll push it.
It's high. It is high.
It's very high on sim race. That's why Max Verstappen loves it so much, because he gets a high level of competition from these guys who are putting in hours and hours and hours. I mean, when I was growing up, and I'm not massively older than these guys, I spent all my time playing Call of Duty when I come home from school. Now you've got 10, 11, 12-year-olds with a full sim rig setup, but they're spending hours and hours racing. And Lewis in particular, and Alonso and these guys, I still think they've got the talent, but my argument is that I think
the sport's moved on, maybe.
To an extent, but I think these guys have been in the sport for so long.
I think we've got an angry fan.
We've now got... Part of my reason, you get a lot of criticism. Lewis gets a lot of criticism, as some of the older drivers do. Part of my reason is that if you see these guys, when they're given a car underneath them that they feel confident in, they still have the talent and the ability to get race results. I mean, Lewis, today wasn't able to convert pole position, but when that car is there, he's able to do it. Same as Alonso as well. And these are guys who started their careers with lighter, smaller, nimbler cars.
Someone wants to yell at you, so I'm going to...
They don't have a lot of time to adapt.
What's your name?
Erica. I'm not here to yell, but my question was, earlier in the season, you had said that you were seeing Kimi Tik iRacing lines, and I was just curious if you still see that, if you followed Kimi, like his onboards and such.
He was most definitely trying to use every little curb of the track, every inch of the track as he possibly could to straighten out his exit. However, in real life, the tracks are updated. Even this weekend, I'm pretty sure the curbs are different at Silverstone. We've seen the cars ground out a couple of moments through Copse Corner, Colapinto's in the last corner, and everyone's struggling there. That they slightly change year in, year out, whereas on sim racing, they don't always get updated. So you can't utilize the same lines. But there are tactics and things you can try in real life.
That's the point that I want to bring up. It's not just getting used to the circuit.
Take my question.
But as we all know, motorsport is very, very expensive. So to be able to, from a young age, for a fairly minimal investment, like ask someone what it costs to go seriously karting at a highly competitive level, like FIA, regional championship level, and you could be into millions of dollars. But for $5,000, you could have an amazing simulator setup, and you can get almost infinite practice, not just driving fast, but actually racing other people. And I think that's also a lot of the advantage.
We have a question from one of the audience members.
Mr. Tuffey?
Yes, sir.
In relation to Lewis Hamilton, is it too late now? Is it over? Is he lost to a previous generation?
Oh, no. I think as I mentioned, I think this current regulation of the cars just hasn't suited him. These are the largest, biggest cars in F1 and heaviest cars in F1 history. And you look at the last set of regs, they were super quick. Arguably the quickest in F1 history, light, nimble. You saw Lewis, you saw Max absolutely excel. And then he started off this set of regs with the worst possible car out of the top four. That W13 still haunts me with those no side pods, ugly thing. And since then, it's been very difficult to try and build confidence on that. As we know, Lewis Hamilton is a confident driver. They all really are, to be honest. I mean, look at Max. Whenever he's not confident in the car, he's so aggressive over the radio because he's like, I want this in a certain position, as he was yesterday. Now look where it is today, and look what he can do when he's more confident with the car. Lewis is the same. Alonso's the same. Hulkenberg. However, their adaptability to get over it is not probably as good because of their age and because of the amount of experience they've got with other cars, with those lighter, nimbler cars. You look at the cars Alonso started with, Hamilton in those first years. They arguably look, you go back and look at YouTube videos, they arguably look quicker because they're just so much more nimble around the track and they're smaller. Whereas now, not so much. So I think 2026 is, look, if it doesn't start well for him, Ferrari can't make him a decent car, then he'll never.
It's his last purpose.
It's probably time. It's probably time to retire. Same for Alonso as well, and it's time to bring the new rookies in because it's look how much of a fresh air it's been.
Matt, save him from the Hamilton fans, please.
Okay. You're right. It's the regulations. It's not Hamilton. Hamilton is perfectly fine. But these regulations, I mean, you talk about the weight, you talk about the length of the car. But fundamentally, the ground effect era promotes a couple of things that really work against where his magic lies. And specifically by making so much downforce underneath the car, you sort of inherently put understeer into the car. And by forcing the car to be so stiff as to essentially, in the case of McLaren with Lando Norris, we've seen this, essentially remove the feel from the front end of the car. It's not a question of even adaptability. It's simply a question of driving backwards to the way you've done it for every other generation of car you've been in. And we're going back to, with the new regulations, the kind of aerodynamics that was very much in his wheelhouse. So I have a bit of hope that he's not toast just
So what you're saying is he hasn't adapted to these cars, so it is an adaptability issue.
We're the worst kind of Lewis Hamilton fans here because he's just done badly in this era.
Unfortunately, so look,
No, I'm sorry. Daniel Ricciardo was an adaptability issue. Hamilton has already won a sprint race in the Ferrari. It's not adaptability in the larger sense. We're talking about the difference between, he's 99.99% versus 999% is Leclerc. It's very, very tiny margin.
the biggest difference I have seen in Lewis Hamilton in the last 3 years is him. His personality, his attitude in front of the camera. His head is down. And he is a guy who lives on his emotions. And when he's up, he's unbeatable. But when he is down, it gets effect on him and it doesn't work. And you could see it again in his post-qualifying interview today. He was just down. He sort of has to second guess the questions that come to him. And you can just see it's all over his face that he is just like, it didn't go my way again. And I'm like, I've always been so behind him on these things where he doesn't get his head down, he gets on with it and he makes it work. But at the moment, I don't see that from him. And it is, I now feel for long-term Ferrari fans because my God, this has been painful. I mean, they've dealt with this for decades. I've only dealt with this for 6 months. I'm done already.
You notice how there was no Charles Leclerc fans here because, well,
Come on, Charles Leclerc fans? No.
It started today.
Yeah,
Well, it was the meme that they had where you got Bart Simpson and Milhouse is showing Bart Simpson a hole. He goes, "This is where I come to cry."
I just think that Hamilton, he's too old and he's too rich. I'm sorry that I'm a massive, you won't find a bigger Lewis Hamilton fan than me, but he's an elite athlete at the top level at 40. You shouldn't be an elite athlete at 40. And I don't know, if you get to that kind of time of your life, you've got money, you've got prospects, you've got things you can do. You're not hungry anymore. It's not your sole focus. He's got power in the world to affect change, to do the things he wants. He can do anything he wants. Is he going to be as focused as a Piastri or as an Antonelli coming in there, and that is their sole focus? I don't know if anyone here has seen the movie Logan's Run from the 70s, but basically everyone, when they turn 30, they get drifted up into a big carousel and a laser just goes... Honestly, I think for F1, maybe 35 is the cutoff. When we've had, and I'll just say as well, from a personality point of view, we've had the same drivers hanging around. At least we've had rookies this season. For years, we had Massa taking up the space. We had Kimi Räikkönen taking up his space. We had no mess.
Don't clap that.
Right,
Perez.
Kick him out of the Discord.
Oh, Stroll.
Kick him out of the Discord.
I've got a counter to you, though, Spanners. There.
Go on.
I think it's all about drive, and it is mental, as Alex said. I mean, you've got to remember that after 2021, he wanted to have that opportunity to fight back, and he was not given that opportunity, which was out of his control. I think if you have Lewis Hamilton and Fernando Alonso in those McLarens this season, I think you'd be seeing a direct championship battle between Lewis and Alonso.
Fernando would have been.
I think if they're given the cars, I think they're still good enough and they're still driven enough. Thank you for the slight applause at the back, which got larger there. I think
It would have been a bigger applause if he hadn't talked about Alonso.
All right, then, while we wrap up
I just
You've
Hamilton.
been gaslit.
Any opinions on Hamilton and whether he can bring it back, Adam?
It's nil down to the fact that they don't have kids. That's why they keep going.
Yeah, maybe. Yeah,
I
maybe.
think
Kids definitely cost you time.
I think that quote is actually...
Kids are
Isn't that a
They are
Mandela
awful.
effect thing where we thought he said it, but he actually...
Hang on, Darren? Oh, sorry, Sean?
We saw Hamilton win at Silverstone last year, and his emotion there shows how driven he is.
That was just 12 months ago. Ahmed?
I disagree about the 40. Look at LeBron James. He wants to move for one final NBA title at 42. The man has more money than sense.
Oh, we've got counter. Got counter.
LeBron's not winning anything.
Yeah.
When did we turn into
What's your name?
Why can't Lewis beat his teammate?
No, that is the thing that you're compared against the teammate.
Freaking awesome. But
Didn't
he
he out
can't-
qualifying
He's
today?
not consistent
Any-
enough.
Well,
Any comments here on Hamilton? Oh, from the Verstappen fan, of course. Go on.
oh, hey,
Patrick?
Correct. Yeah, I think he's washed.
Washed. They've gone for washed. So his address is actually 37 Acacia Avenue. And from New York?
All right. Why are we all forgetting 2023? Where he was actually very, very close to challenging P2 against Sergio Perez. And if it wasn't for the plankwear and coda, he faltered.
So if it wasn't for the illegal car that gave him a better result. Okay, any last comments on Hamilton? What's your name?
Yeah, I'm just a bit sad because I think he has it in him. But next year, with Adrian Newey, Lance Stroll is just gonna,
Now, to be fair, did I not call it? As soon as they bought Racing Point, I said Lance Stroll could be world champion. If they've
Isn't
got that much money,
all the money. I was going to say that's a horrifying prospect that Lance Stroll could be in possession of a championship. We could literally have, like Max did with the Red Bull, we could have Lance Stroll in possession of a championship-winning car.
You could put everybody in an F2 car and him in an F1 car. He still wouldn't win. He'd probably still get knocked out in Q3.
I mean, let's face it.
He won.
Make a good enough car,
He won.
even Jensen Button can win a championship.
oh my God, no.
Whoa, where did that come from?
Oh, I'm not having that. I've touched Jensen Button.
Does he know?
Yeah, he was there. When I was out in Houston interviewing Jensen Button, and he was talking to me about horses, as if I'd have an opinion on what kind of horse you should get.
You don't have any in your paddock, no?
No, I just mentioned, all I said to him was, I haven't seen as many horses in Texas as I would have expected. And he started talking to me about horses and selecting horses and things like that. But no, we have got a Catman looking back at Jensen Button's career coming out next week. And so let's see if that changes your mind a little bit. So I think we're ending on washed, LeBron James, and a lot of other stuff I didn't understand. And people getting very handsy with the microphone. But I think that's enough of Lewis Hamilton for now. Let's talk about Max Verstappen. He's dominated Formula One since 2021. 2022 was just... people think that was a tight challenge with Ferrari. It wasn't. This is the last subject before the break, by the way. And 23 was absolutely dominant. 24... I think was absolutely his best season. where there was a genuine title rival there. And I think if you swap those cars and you put Verstappen in McLaren, I still think Verstappen would have won that championship. To me, that had rings of Lewis Hamilton versus Sebastian Vettel in 2018. Again, I think if you swap the teams and swap the drivers, Lewis Hamilton's still champion in that era. But Alex Van Gien, what makes Max Verstappen so good and why has he dominated this period of F1? And I know that you are not a fan and that this hurts you.
Listen, it doesn't hurt me because, okay, as a person, I'm not a Max Verstappen fan. There's no denying that. But I can't help but respect what he is able to do in a car. And it has been because, first of all, he has been on this since he was a kid. He's from a racing family. He has been karting constantly non-stop with a parent who pushed him very hard. Should I leave it there? I'll leave it there. So with a parent who pushed him very, very hard and was very, very difficult on him.
Alex, you're too nice to your kids. I keep saying this to you. You're like, well done, sweetheart. Let's put that on the fridge. No. You need
You
to
should
motivate
see the
them.
side of my fridge.
Our fridge is barren. Daddy, can this one go in the fridge? No. That I would expect more.
And he has just also been driven in himself. He literally constantly bitches over the radio about what's wrong with the car. But then between him and GP and the excellent Red Bull team, again, a team I don't like, but they are just excellent and they are operating at the highest level. They clamber around Max Verstappen like Ferrari did around Michael Schumacher, and they fix the problems almost in real time, and he just goes faster and faster and faster. And at the moment, and I don't like saying this, he is head and shoulders above every single person on that grid at the moment. He is phenomenal.
There was one person clapping. He's the 4-time world champion. You can admit.
They're not clapping because they're sad, because they know it's right and they don't want it to be right. That it is true, unfortunately.
What the great drivers do is they get the best. They maximize, and this is fully pun intended, they maximize the cars to the best of their ability. And that's what Max has done this season. Like, he's got 4 poles joint with Oscar Piastri this year, more than Lando Norris, who's in a rocket ship of a McLaren, not in clean air, but not in dirty air, but in clean air. And he, unfortunately, if he didn't crash out last week with Antonelli, would be sitting there going, he's still in this championship fight.
I think people get too hung up with ultimate lap times or race position, and you go, well, his ultimate lap time is only a 10th above this guy, so he's not that much better. I think if you look at darts and you say all of us can hit a treble 20 every now and then, and Verstappen is hitting treble 20s much more often than everybody else. I think Singapore last year was one of his best qualifyings because the track was difficult. People were crashing. Signs went off. The Mercedes both fluffed their laps. Verstappen did not have the best car there, but because he so routinely nails Q3, he ended up in P2 because he is just more consistently hitting it in the trebles.
So it's why I was so annoyed with him at Spain, because at Spain, up until the moment he lost his mind, he was head and shoulders above everybody else. That was one of the best performances I've seen from him. He did not have the car that weekend, and they gave him a suboptimal strategy, and he still made it work to the point where he was pushing the McLarens harder than they wanted to be pushed, and harder than really that car should be pushing.
I feel like
it was just phenomenal.
A microphone next to Ken so that clap gets highlighted a little bit more. I suppose there's a big question coming up, though, because I'm buying into the Mercedes rumors. I actually think that he would be correct to move to Mercedes. Ford looks like it's going to be a nightmare. This is going to be 2014 all over again. He should 100% be looking for a Mercedes engine.
I think without Max Verstappen, Red Bull could leave the sport in a number of years, because they just will not have anybody that can do with that what they've done. They've lost Adrian Newey. Christian Horner, I don't think, will last much longer without a Max Verstappen heading up that team. And I think you could see in the next 4 or 5 years a disappeared Red Bull.
He had Vettel. He lost Vettel. Red Bull survived.
Vettel wasn't as good as Max, though.
I think what you've got is that...
And the second car doesn't work.
I don't think it's just a Mercedes engine. I think it's the fact that there's clearly more happening behind the scenes than what we are seeing. You can see the downfall of a business and see issues and the direction they're heading in from the inside. They've lost a lot of key personnel. Jonathan Wheatley went, Adrian Newey went. They've been key to Red Bull since they came into the sport. Plus, they've lost other engineers as a winning race team does. They get poached by other teams. That's partly why McLaren have done so well. People have asked why McLaren have just come out of nowhere. Well, they haven't really, because they have recruited very well over the last few seasons, whereas Red Bull haven't been able to replace those.
I think, I think there was something on Reddit, and someone had gone and done all this work and said, yes, you can correlate very clearly the downfall of the car with the departure of Adrian Newey. But I think I really agree with you, Scott. To me, this all goes back to the death of Dietrich Mateschitz. And at that point, fundamentally, the power, the balance, you hear drivers say the balance of the car matters most in the corners. If you give me a well-balanced car, I can drive it fast. If it's unpredictable, the balance is off, then no human being can do this. You can only just see the times on you. And it's the same thing. With Mateschitz gone, the team has become unbalanced. And it's sorting itself out, but it's going to be a lengthy process. And the question I think you're correct about, because we saw Red Bull leave NASCAR when they stopped getting results. The question is, will the owners be willing to fund this till it finds a new point of buoyancy and begins to rise again?
There's one key thing why I think there's a lot of substance to the Mercedes move, is that Max, there's always been rumors about, will he take a sabbatical? Will he be in F1? He's said these comments in the past about, I'm not going to be in the sport till I'm 40. He made a comment this weekend in an interview that was very telling. It's the first time we've heard him reiterate this. I'm going to be in F1 for quite a long time. LeBron, I'm paraphrasing there.
We've got an in the audience.
But that is the first time.
Clean up on aisle one.
Do you know what? If you're part of a fan base that is competing against Verstappen and doesn't like it, suck it up, because he has been a phenomenon in F1. But I truly believe that drivers' legacies are built over multiple eras, multiple regulation sets, and multiple teams. This could well be the beginning of Verstappen proving he is an all-time great. He is definitely a great, but it will be a part of his legacy, how he does, if, and I think when, he moves to Mercedes. So after the break, I'm going to want to know your reckons. So get in there with the things you reckon. But for now, we'll end with, do you think Verstappen can succeed at Mercedes? Here we go. I wonder what Ken will say.
Schumacher changed the sport. Mike Hamilton changed the sport. And both of them in their early parts of their careers, people said they were driving people off the road. They called them assholes. Verstappen did the exact same thing, drove like Schumacher did in his early years, drove like Hamilton did in his early years, and he will be as good or better than Hamilton or Schumacher was.
There you go. That's really well put. Well done. You've got a voice as well. Don't let him go on the mic again. We don't. It's only the span of it. Anyone else? Verstappen, will he succeed at Mercedes?
Yeah, I believe he's going to rewrite history.
Okay, anyone else? Anyone with an opinion? Ahmed, here we go. Any country?
Only if George Russell isn't in the team.
Oh, I think they're going to kick him out. Here we go. We've got Dan Drury, engine mode 11. Will he succeed at Mercedes?
Yes, but I'm going to go back to the other comment of, if you think Red Bull are going to pull out of F1 after the RB17 and the amount of money they've invested in the MK campus, I want your dealer's phone number.
Yeah, no, I agree. I don't think they're going anywhere. I think Red Bull can survive that. Anyway, here we go. Do you think Verstappen, is he going to...
No. Why?
Carstappen, right? Yeah?
Well, look at RB and the fact that two drivers are able to drive the car consistently well. And then the fact with Red Bull, they've developed the car in such a way that it is like...
Maybe Mercedes will do the same. Maybe they'll do it. Here we go.
I think bullies don't succeed, and I think this is it. This is it. We like the good guys. That's why McLaren is succeeding. No, but the reigning of Max Verstappen is over.
Okay, but also 4 world championships, that could be classed as succeeding, couldn't it, so far?
I will just say one thing, is that this has the potential hallmarks of what Lewis Hamilton did. Everyone questioned his move away from McLaren. Then look how it panned out at Mercedes. Schumacher as well.
What's your name? Sorry. What did you say?
I said 3 and an asterisk.
Anyway, Verstappen, will he succeed at McLaren? Anyone? It's a Mercedes, sorry. Yeah. Okay, excellent. Do I know something that I'm keeping to myself? Thank you very much, guys. That was a fantastic chat. Thank you so much for being so forthright on the microphone. We will come back, and what we'll do is we'll do about 20 minutes of things you reckon, and we'll do a quiz, but make sure you're armed with a drink. We'll get kicked out of here at 11. Feel free to leave at any time
It only gets worse as we go along. But thank you for coming. We'll just take a 5-10 minute break, go to the bar, go chill out, go relax. Thank you, everyone. And I don't know what we're publishing out of this. A heavily redacted version, hopefully. Do you want some more pizza, Alex? 3 pizzas a charm? No?
Well, that's the end of the live show footage that we have, and it ended in a way that was either satisfactory or needed a outro, like Uncle Steve said. So here's the outro to the show. And thank you for tuning in to that. If you made it all the way here, I hope it was good listening. It was good in the place, in the actual place. It was better. So next time, you've got to go there. Like, we were talking about you. All the people who didn't go, we were talking about all of you behind your back. So next time, don't miss out. Be scared of missing out and come and join us at our live events. Oh, man, we did karting there as well. I'd love to do a karting event. It's too much money. I don't know. I'm trying to find a way. I'm trying to find a way to get us karting somewhere. And I like the idea of live show with a bit of karting. That worked quite well. Anyway, this is that outro. I think this counts as an outro. I think you're right, Steve. I'm feeling it. I'm feeling the vibe now. It did need an outro. Good production call. Until next time, work hard, be kind, and have fun. This was Missed Apex Podcast. Yeah, that would have been weird without an outro, Steve. You're right. Meow, meow.